Why are we so obsessed with others' faults? That's the topic I want to unpack today. My name is Tilford, pastor at the table in Sachse, Texas, and welcome to Table Talk, where each week I unpack insights and ideas from Christian theology, spirituality, culture that help you become a more thoughtful, calm, and just a wonderful human being. So I recently finished a marvelous old book titled The Spirit of Saint Francois de Sales, which is about the life and teachings of this fabulous Christian saint. So Saint Francois, he was born in 1567. He was a bishop in the city of Geneva in France for many years. And really he was someone who over time became known for his wisdom and his kindness. But in this book, I came across the following quote from him. He said this: "Men who are curious into their inquiries in the lives of others are mostly careless about correcting their own faults." And I love that he used the word curious. You almost get the sort of a picture of a person who's like an investigator or a scientist, not of crimes or of physics or something, but of the faults of other people. But then he goes even further and sees that there's a connection between those folks' interest and almost obsession with others' faults and an avoidance of their own. And this leads me to a principle that our great temptation is to avoid our own faults and shortcomings by becoming preoccupied with the faults and shortcomings of others. Now, why does this tend to be the case? I think it's captured in that one word, avoidance. Right? To put it poetically, all of us are tempted to avoid our own crap. And sometimes we avoid it through distraction. Other times we avoid it through addiction. But one of our favorite ways to disguise the fact that we are avoiding our own weaknesses and shortcomings is our obsession with other people's weaknesses and shortcomings. In fact, the family therapist Edwin Friedman, whom I love and I quote a lot, he pointed out that generally every family has one person that he calls the identified patient. This is the person that everyone in the family system agrees is the problem. It's their alcoholism, or their lack of people skills, or their inability to hold down a job, or whatever the latest dramatic thing is, and everyone's constantly focused on it and talking about it behind their backs, of course, because God forbid we ever have a direct conversation with them. Now, here's the thing. It may be true that they really are an alcoholic, or lack social skills, or whatever. I mean, they really may be a dysfunctional mess. But here's the key. The identified patient concept is naming that so often the family not only begins to revolve around them and their dysfunction, but they actually become an excuse for me not growing up and facing my own crap, right? And this can be either explicit or implicit. By explicit, I mean we might literally say, well, I just can't move on, or I just can't focus elsewhere. I can't set those goals or work on myself because I'm distracted by them. I gotta take care of them. I gotta talk endlessly about them. Or more often though, it's implicit and unconscious. Having another conversation about them is easier than working on me. Even though consciously I'm maybe not aware that that's what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing. All right, so what's the answer? What do we do? Well, we've got to become more curious about our own faults, our own weaknesses, our own shortcomings. We've got to pay attention to our dysfunction, to our patterns of avoidance, and as best we can, we've got to begin to cultivate a healthy indifference about the weaknesses and faults of others. So, for example, when you journal, make it about your own weaknesses. When you pray, make it about your own shortcomings, not theirs. When you speak to others, talk about your own struggles, not theirs. And not just your weaknesses, but also start to focus on your goals and your strengths and your growth edges, right? Pay attention to the God-instilled potential in yourself rather than the faults of others. That's the path to growth and maturity. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, subscribe, share, comment, all the things. And to ensure you don't miss future episodes, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel or to my podcast on really most any platform by searching Brett Tilford Table Talk. Grace and peace.